And this massive, well and carefully constructed tunnel also proves that these people were not as simple as they initially believed. To be able to secretly dig such a large underground passage under the noses of the community was quite impressive and a bit scary now that Han Feng thinks about it. He suddenly thought of the special op and the information they managed to squeeze out of him. If what he said was just the tip of the iceberg, then their neighborhood was not safe. Not even a little. As the group made their way inside for a close-up inspection, Li Zi suddenly called out for them to come take a look at something. With evident curiosity in his eyes, he ran a hand over a pipe system attached to the wall within the entrance tunnel. But the moment Han Feng saw what Li Zi wanted to show everyone, he stated objectively that the system looks like a drainage pipe in the community. Han Feng also spots the little girl silently moving further within the tunnel, so he casually grabbed her by her hair. "Hey, where do you think you're going? It's too dangerous." The little girl said nothing, but the moment Li Zi saw this, he was momentarily stunned. He told Han Feng to let go. Anyway, they couldn't just proceed further within the tunnel without adequate preparation. So the group decided to go back first and come back when they do. A while later, with the convenience of the Evil King's True Eyes alternate dimension, the group managed to grab all the necessary gear they could think about under such short notice. After a thorough check over, Han Feng was sure that together with the weapons they found earlier, they were enough. "Oh, and before I forget, give me some food seeds and a piece of raw pork." The little girl managed to successfully take out the desired items. But as she hands a gun over to Li Zi, she noticed Han Feng staring at her. So she asked if there was anything else he needed. "No, not really. We're just going to explore the route this time. If there is any emergency, we will return in time." Inwardly, Han Feng was a bit pleased with her improvement. It seems the little girl had become more and more proficient in using her abilities, and can now easily and accurately find items from her alternate space without any fuss. Before leaving, Han Feng made mention that the room they were currently in was quite secluded, and no one would come there in a short time. The two should wait there for them till they get back. Also, he had reinforced the walls and doors, so even if they are discovered, they shouldn't be able to break through in a short time. On his way out with Li Zi, Han Feng reminded them that it wasn't safe to stay outside for a long time, and suggested the need to go back inside. Nurse Jean remained silent as the little girl assured Han Feng not to worry. She, the Evil King's True Eye, will protect his apostle. This response stunned Nurse Jean. Speechless, she stared at the little girl in disbelief. Anyway, Han Feng and Li Zi made their way down the flight of stairs, then down the underground parking lot, and finally at the entrance of the massive tunnel. Han Feng silently assessed their current predicament. Under the current circumstances, the threat they face was not only from Glass's man, but may also come from that tunnel. And since the community was no longer safe, why not try to find another survival point through that tunnel? After a brief survey, the two entered without a backward glance. Inside the frozen and eerie tunnel, Li Zi comments that he initially thought that the tunnel would be warmer since it was underground, but it was just as cold as if they were up there. Han Feng agreed, and he uses a shovel to check the current state of the soil. He stated that the soil was all frozen, so it was only natural for the tunnel to be cold as well. Also, they don't know when the construction of the tunnel was even made. Li Zi insisted Han Feng take the lead while he followed behind. 15 minutes later, they made their way up through a narrow path. Then 30 minutes later, they entered the city's underground sewage system, spanning across the entire city and was connected in all directions. So, after another 30 minutes of exploration, they found a manhole with its ladder intact. The two made their way up the ladder, but as Li Zi tried to open the cover, it didn't budge. He informed Han Feng that the manhole's cover seemed to be pressed down by the snow, and there was no sign of looseness at all. They got back down and continued their exploration until they arrived at a junction with two passageways. Of course, this predicament prompted Li Zi to begin his usual story narration about a similar encounter. Once, he said calmly, "I was wandering around underground and couldn't tell which direction I was going." Before he could continue, Han Feng immediately pointed to his right and explained the reason for his choice. He used the distribution of water pipes to conclude which side was more likely to be a path that led to a residential area above. Li Zi had no objection, so he went along with Han Feng's choice, exploring as they made their way deeper. He saw something a few distance away and called out to Han Feng to come take a look. Fortunately enough, the two happened to have found a map of the entire sewer distribution system. Using the map to track their movements and current location, they found out that they were in the basement of a nearby community, and a gymnasium was just ahead. But in that moment, they heard the sound of a vehicle not far away. Han Feng told Li Zi to turn off his headlights as he did the same. They moved closer in the direction of the sound of the heavy truck a few distance away. The tires of the truck came to view as it sped up even faster. The scene then pans into full view, revealing two heavy convoys speeding through the large section of the sewage system. Their headlights illuminated the entire passageway, and the sounds of their engines echoed loudly as they sped past Li Zi and Han Feng's hidden silhouettes. Li Zi noticed the direction in which the two convoy was heading, and stated that it was in the direction of the Hanqing neighborhood. Han Feng agreed and added that it also looks like a military truck, probably an accomplice of the 3 soldiers who came to their neighborhood. So in other words, these trucks are also used to transport personnel to repair that base. Maybe we can find out if we follow them, but it will be easy to be discovered if we follow them like this. Han Feng spoke in a calm tone as he turned on his headlight. Li Zi, feeling smug, stated that there was no need to follow those cars. He had a back door, so he led the way to another manhole. When they got there, he explained that a year ago, there was an old lady in a residential complex in Seoul who fell into the sewer in their community and was rescued by him. Hearing this, Han Feng asked if he can still remember the place where it happened a year ago so clearly. Of course I can, he replied confidently. I was a top student in high school because my memory was pretty good. Li Zi climbed the ladder, got to the top, tried and failed miserably to open the cover which was almost frozen over. Han Feng lets out a regrettable sigh when he realized it couldn't be open. Then, he suggested that Li Zi try again from the front. There may be a little deviation, so they went to the front and check again. He checked the first, it didn't open. The second was the same. And the third, well, it also yielded the same results. Han Feng even asked if it was okay after changing to several places. Were they even in the same location? Anyway, on the 4th try in another location, the cover finally opened, making Li Zi teared up in relief. He silently removed the lid of the manhole, turned off his headlights, checked his surroundings and came out. The moment he did, Han Feng followed. The two were at Seoul's community underground parking lot. You see, I've already said that I know everything about this place, Li Zi proudly stated as he helps Han Feng out of the manhole. He also made a mental note to later find the grandson of someone named Lao Wang. Han Feng immediately signaled him to pipe down. They weren't alone in the basement. The two silently made their way towards the source of the sound they heard, hiding behind the frozen parked cars. Up ahead, Han Feng's eyes widened slightly when they encountered a dead body. And from the looks of it, it seems that there was a fight in this residence as well, and it hadn't been long since it happened apparently. They managed to get as close as possible, and from the view, they knew the group were creating another massive tunnel similar to the one at Han Feng and Li Zi's residence. The homeowners seemed to be working under the threat of the 2 special soldiers supervising them. One of the special soldiers cursed under his breath, stating that they were called there to guard the place they were before the tunnel was even completed. And apparently, there was not even a decent meal in that crappy place. The other agreed, adding that the reason for their misfortune was because they were in the assault class. Han Feng heard their exchange and deduced that the people in this community were also most likely being controlled by these soldiers. Suddenly, the ground began to shake violently. Li Zi pointed at the scene nearby and told Han Feng to take a look. One of the soldiers shouted for the homeowners to run away from there. The tunnel was about to be opened. Most of them managed to get away in time, but those on top of the scaffold couldn't, and was blown away together with the rocks and sand like they were nothing. Anyway, as the dust amidst the fallen debris gradually began to settle, a glowing green eye came to view. And upon a closer look, a bulky soldier who happens to be a superhuman came to view, specifically a strengthening type.